So Scott, if you could tell me a little bit about what was the original reason that you were sent to the Cove, and why people in the United States and our own community of Edmonds, why should they care about what's going on with dolphins and what the Japanese are doing with the dolphins there?
Well, it's not just the Japanese, it's what's happening to the oceans worldwide. And of course here in Edmonds, I mean, we sit right on the Puget Sound, and if folks in Edmonds can't see the need to protect the marine environment, then no one will be able to figure that out. So I think it's probably pretty self-evident to the folks in Edmonds why we need to protect our oceans. The scientists, even the naysayers, are all pretty much coming into agreement that the fisheries are collapsing worldwide. The acidification of the oceans, the warming of the temperatures, and we can only guess what that end result's going to look like. But we're watching the diminishment of the top predators. The sharks are being pulled out to the tune of 80 to 100 million a year just for soup, shark fin soup, and the best estimates we have that only 8 to 10% of the large sharks exist from just 30 years ago. Top predators are extremely important in an ecosystem, and as they're taken out, then it wreaks havoc on the whole rest of the ecosystem. So we're seeing that occurring. The thing with cetaceans, dolphins and whales, they're also top predators, but they are the intellectual elites of the oceans, and there are many who would even suspect that the dolphins and whales have a higher intellect than humans. Their brain sizes are larger, and they have 3 lobes instead of our 2. There's a lot we don't know about them, and yet they're being destroyed, and their habitats are being destroyed at an incredible pace. One of the things that Captain Watson says often is that when the oceans die, we die, and there's a lot of scientific credibility for that statement, and it's something that not only those of us here in Edmonds, but people in the center of the country and everywhere else in the world should be paying attention to that concern. On average, about 22,000 dolphins are killed in Japan each year. Now, only about 2,000 are killed in Taiji. And many people have asked us, particularly the citizens of Taiji were asking us, why are we picking on this when it's only 10% of the entire slaughter in that one nation? And our answer to that is that, one, Taiji enjoys, as they say in the legal sense, enjoys worldwide recognition at this moment, and so it is a place to start. Secondly, Taiji is the main place where dolphins are taken from the wild and placed into the captive programs for dolphinariums, swim with dolphin programs, these insidiously awful activities. And there are many, many humans around the world today that are very fond of dolphins because of an encounter they might have had in a dolphinarium or a swim with dolphin program. But I think if they really understood the cruelty and the bloodshed and the horror that went into getting that wild and free animal that travels 60 miles a day to be put into a concrete tank no bigger than his house, if they're that lucky, it's something that we should not at all allow to occur. But of course it does occur for money. It's an incredible amount of money to be made in the dolphin entertainment industry.
Even though they're not using the same technique that they were in the Cove, it's still horrific, if not even more horrific, actually.
And I was reading about that. It used to be that they would slit the dolphins' throats. Is that correct?
They used spears, then just multiple jabs until they finally killed them and filled the water up with blood. That's what the technique they were using that was captured by the cameras in the movie. What they have gone to now is using a steel rod that they run down through the spinal cord, saying that it is a much more humane and a quicker death. However, we have some pretty graphic footage of this activity ongoing, and it is not quick, and it is not humane.
Ideally, what would you like to see happen in Japan with the dolphins, and I guess just focusing on the dolphins. I mean, to stop that activity altogether?
Oh, absolutely. That activity has to stop because it has no place in this modern world. And we kept hearing this BS that, oh, this is culture. Well, culture you don't hide. You don't bury it and
you don't eat your lunch on it.
Or put up tarps or enact ordinances to keep you out. You celebrate culture. So that it's a BS argument. And even if it were cultural, many things that were cultural ultimately had to be given up. It was cultural in the United States as a whaling nation. Great Britain, Australia, and all those
Australia
nations
was a huge whaling nation.
gave that up. Slave owning and trading was once a cultural tradition in many parts of the world, and that needed to be ultimately set aside. So there is no legitimate argument for the continuation of the molestation of these dolphins in Japan or anywhere else for that matter.